Rocket League may have the most prideful player base in all of competitive gaming, and it's not even close. There's a reason this game breeds ego. You don't just play Rocket League, you are your rank. And once you see it, you won't unsee it. Let me break it down for you. So Rocket League is different from most competitive games. There's no RNG, no loadouts, and ultimately, no abilities that can bail you out when you're 2 goals down. You either hit the ball or you don't. And when you don't, everyone sees it, and your whiffing is not subtle. It's very public. You go for an aerial, miss completely, and now your teammate is deciding whether they want you ever touching the ball again. And that visibility changes people, because when your mistakes are that obvious, your ego becomes protection. That's why players blame their teammates so fast. And you've seen it. You pass a perfect ball in solo queue, your teammate whiffs, and suddenly you're typing paragraphs in your head. But then, not even 2 players later, you miss a wide open net. Yikes. And now it's quiet. Rocket League doesn't give you that space to hide, and when people can't hide, they defend themselves. That's where the ego starts. And here's where it gets deeper. In Rocket League, rank isn't just a matchmaking tool, it's a social currency. Nobody says, yeah, I casually play Rocket League. They say, I'm a champ, I'm GC, I'm hard stuck diamond. And your rank becomes almost like a resume. It determines whether your advice is valid, whether your opinion even matters, and whether you're good or just straight up talking, bro. Lose a rank, it feels personal. Because now it's not just your MMR that's dropping, it's also your status. I remember playing ranked with a friend who had just started the game. He was around silver to low gold, and at the time I was sitting comfortably in plat 3. We would grind ranked for hours, and by the end of the night, I'd end up being plat 1. And I caught myself thinking, would I be diamond by now if I didn't play with him? But here's the uncomfortable truth. If I was truly diamond level at the time, I would have gotten there. Simple as that. And when rank becomes identity, any loss feels like someone is questioning how good you are. And that's why ego shows up so fast. And honestly, it even gets worse. Rocket League has 2 core skills: game sense and mechanics. Game sense wins games, and mechanics win clips. And in today's content world, clips get attention. If you scroll long enough, everyone looks like an SSL. You see flip resets, ceiling shots, and double taps, but you don't see the rotations, the positioning, the little decisions that they make that actually win those matches and put them in the position to be able to do that. Mechanics are a visible skill, while game sense is almost like an invisible skill, and people will always flex what is visible. It's like flexing a Rolex. Everyone cares how it shines, nobody asks if it actually tells the time. That creates a strange illusion. People start tying their identity to how flashy they look, and not how consistently they win. And when flash becomes status, ego follows. Because now you're not just competing to win, you're competing to look impressive. Here's the twist though. That ego, it's not entirely bad. I posted a short once about the importance of rotating back post. Nothing crazy, just a fundamental that almost every Rocket League player knows. 2 commenters get into a full-on debate. One said post rotations is slow and outdated in the higher ranks. The other said even in high level play, like the RLCS, back post still exists, just more fluid and efficiently. These guys were writing essays, paragraphs, under a video with less than 20,000 views, mind you. And I just watched it unfold. That's ego. But it's also passion. And that pride is what pushes these players to improve. That's what makes someone grind flip resets in free play for 2 hours. It's what makes someone queue up again after losing 3 straight games. Ego fuels the Rocket League ecosystem. It keeps the debates alive, it keeps the people grinding, and it keeps the game competitive. Without pride, Rocket League would feel almost empty, I feel like. So if you really want to see ego exposed, play 1v1s. No teammates to blame, no one to hide behind, and every mistake becomes a goal. I had a game once where I was beating someone in 1. Mid-match, he types, I'm a champ 2 in duos, you can never actually beat me. And at the time, I was a gold 3 in 1s. But I was like, try. And he said, don't say I didn't warn you. He still lost. I don't remember the full score, but I remember the loss and him immediately leaving as soon as the game ended. Now maybe he was telling the truth. Maybe he was boosted. Maybe he was just tilted. But that moment says everything. Rocket League doesn't create ego. It just exposes it. And honestly, that's why it works. That's why the content thrives. That's why the debates never stop. Because in Rocket League, your mistakes are visible, and your rank is personal, and your skill is always on display. And when everything is exposed, so is your ego. But hey, I'm new here. For more content like this, drop a sub or don't. I'll be here either way. See you guys later.